I want to bring back up here Brian Scott, who is a farmer in Indiana, but one of the social influencers that a lot of us follow in the social media. Have a seat there also, Mike. We want to quiz him a little bit and talk a bit about. Come on up, Brian. I'm sorry. Come on up. As they say, grab a mic or grab a mitt and get in the game. Grab a mic and get in the game. Now, you farm. Tell us a little bit about your farm to begin with in Carroll County, Indiana.
Yeah, we farm in Northwest Indiana. Farm with my dad. Corn, soybeans, popcorn, and wheat.
And you're in actually what is a pretty good pork producing area, or traditionally has been, right?
Yeah, I don't know. We got out of pigs maybe in like 2005. I think maybe Carroll County's still the top one in the state. We got Indiana Packers right there in Delphi, and 20 miles down the road, we got Tyson.
I was thinking that you still had fairly good packing and production presence there in that part of the world. Social media. Tell us about how you approach it. What's your philosophy as you put out there aspects of your farming operation for people around the world to see?
Yeah, so I just kind of try to keep the non-farmers in mind all the time and just try not dumb things down, but maybe not use a lot of lingo and explain things in terms everybody can understand. If I do use some lingo, try to explain it. And even with other farmers, I've learned things. There's so much regional vocabulary. We call the same things a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, what do you guys call end rows over there in Indiana? Are they end rows? They turn rows? They headlands? What do you call them?
Yeah, they're end rows. We have end rows and point rows.
End rows and point rows, absolutely. So you have been on social media. You've been telling the farmer's life story, Brian, for 12 years now, 13 years?
Yeah, about 12 years, maybe 13 when we flip the calendar over.
I mean, you have seen a lot of changes in the internet in those 12 or 13 years. Has it broadly been beneficial? Have you been reaching more people as the internet continues to grow? Are you seeing your outreach, particularly to non-farmers, grow?
Yeah, and like I said, that's always been the goal. You kind of need to go where they are sometimes. I've always kind of joked, if you're going to post big green tractors, you're going to attract other people that have big green tractors. So, so you have to do a little more outreach than everybody always says we're trying to talk outside our bubble. So it's pretty easy to talk within ag, but get outside of it's a little more of a challenge.
Yeah.
Are there some things that you won't show? I mean, I ask this because sometimes there are aspects of agriculture that need a very extensive explanation to fully grasp the complexity of what it is. And it's hard to show all of the aspects and to give in the social media, there are probably some things that just don't come across as well. Will you stay away from some things for fear that maybe that non-farmer will get the wrong perception about the way you farm?
Yeah. I don't know that I stay away from much. There's things that, I don't know, we're having a major problem or something. I'm like, this would probably get a lot of views, but I kind of just want to fix it right now. I want to work and do that. But I do try to, when I do screw up, I try to post that every once in a while to say, hey, not everything is perfect.
I've noticed that
all the time.
And I think it's neat when you do that. It is, Brian.
You're human, right? We're all human. Yeah.
If I could get a tractor stuck, that would be really helpful, but I haven't done that for like 20 years. So,
I'm curious, Brian, you do farmer's life. You farm big, you're farming in Indiana there. What's brought you to Farm Progress Show this year? What's the work you're doing with Mystik Lubricants?
Yeah, so they asked me to come out here and talk with Max and you a couple of times. So partnered with them this year. So pretty much got everything on the farm running on Mystik now, and got a couple more oil changes to do when I get home before we get to harvest, and we'll be all ready to go.
Been a good fit so far?
Yeah. It's been working really well.
That's excellent. What do you have looking forward to? Of course, harvest is coming up. How are yields looking across your area in Indiana?
Yeah, I think we're looking pretty good. Another inch or two of rain going into September would be nice, but we've caught rains when we need them, even though it's been dry. We were technically in a drought for a while. We're expanding our grain bins and drying right now, so hoping that gets finised up.
I think I
saw quick.
Yeah, I think I saw an image of the construction underway.
Yep.
How close is it to being done?
It's pretty close. I haven't gotten any pictures from home, so I don't think the crane showed up for the leg since I've been here, but that might be next week. And then the one integral piece, the drag dump from the truck to the leg, we were told doesn't show up till the end of September. So
that's going to put it close.
I hope it shows up on the date they told us.
Did you plan this construction project based on need, or was it somewhat associated with the cost. You know, we've seen steel prices
Yeah.
rather elevated.
Yeah. We've thought about it for a few years, and of course now it's more expensive than it has been. Last year was kind of the final straw. We were at the end of the harvest. 22% corn's as low as we got last year. Just a bunch of, gray, gloomy days, and we haven't been able to keep up with the combine for years. So we're really bumping up our drying capacity, and I think we're gonna be able to dump trucks twice as fast now, at least. So I'm kind of excited to get all that going.
Yeah, it's nice to see those gains and efficiencies come down all the way to the farm, isn't it? Just get some time back on your schedule.
Yep.
Brian, the other question I've got for you: corn, beans, and popcorn. Never grown popcorn. I don't know that much about it. I don't think we grow that much in Iowa, as far as I'm aware. Certainly not as much as you folks in Indiana. When's that harvest get started compared to your conventional corn? Is it before or after?
It's pretty much the same.
Okay.
And like Nebraska's number 1, we're number 2.
Okay.
I don't know who's number 3.
Okay.
But yeah, we're number 2 as far as production in the U.S. So it's generally the same. This year we planted the popcorn before we planted anything else, because it's got to be at a certain moisture.
Okay.
And with those gray, gloomy days, we struggled to get there. Once it gets there, it kind of stays there. But last year probably extended our harvest about a week trying to get to that.
Wow.
Both Orville Redenbacher and Jolly Time, Weaver, those are big names.
Mhm.
Who do you produce for?
So we've always grown for Weaver. Orville is right down the road, but we haven't hooked up with them since Dad and Grandpa started with them in '78. So 2 years longer than I've been around.
I've often wondered if it was because of Orville that Indiana developed such a leadership role in popcorn production. You know, he came out of Purdue and became a county agent. Orville Redenbacher was a county agent in Vigo County, Terre Haute, Indiana. Then he went down to Princeton, near where I was born. It's actually same town. And he was an agronomist there who ran Princeton Farms, which was a popcorn and seed corn company. In fact, about the time I was born, my dad knew Orville. There's a picture of the cooperators of the Gibson County Soil and Water Conservation District. Right on the front row was O.C. Redenbacher. Then he went up to Valparaiso and continued to perfect his product, took it into Marshall Fields in Chicago in a glass jar, and said convincingly, very convincingly, obviously, this isn't ordinary stuff. This is Orville Redenbacher's popcorn. And he was the brand with his bow tie for many, many years. I had the privilege of interviewing him on Channel 9 in Chicago before he passed.
Wow.
But I just wonder if that leadership in that commodity maybe allowed the industry to prosper in Indiana, or is it something special about Indiana's soils and climate, Brian?
Yeah, of course, we're in the Corn Belt, so that helped. But it surely helped having Orville right in our neighborhood. So to spur Indiana up. I always say Nebraska's number 1, but I tell them they cheat because they water it.
Right.
So,
Irrigated corn
Yeah.
in Nebraska,
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah,
they're
that's
number
true.
1, but they're cheating. he
Well, there was a
says.
time I know when the two states alternated. I mean,
yeah.
quite
Wow.
often Indiana was in leadership in popcorn, and maybe shortly there. I guess maybe it just depends on where they need the contract acreage.
Right.
Is almost all of it under contract?
Yeah, pretty much all commercial popcorn's under contract. The nice thing with popcorn is all we're contracting is the acres. So we can't under or overproduce. So they take everything you got, and that's
Really?
all there is to it.
And it is pegged to the Chicago futures price on corn.
Yeah, so every hybrid actually has a different price. So each hybrid has a multiplier. The yields vary a lot between hybrids.
Okay.
We've grown stuff that makes 4,000 pounds and stuff that makes close to 7,000 pounds.
Wow.
So, but they might almost pay the same. So you kind of watch that a little bit. But yeah, they use December corn price, and then you figure in that multiplier to
Wow.
get your pennies per pound.
Brian, if we've got folks who want to keep up to speed, I'm going to tune in to watch Popcorn Harvest this year. I want to see how it all works. Where can they catch you? What platforms is Farmer's Life active on here in 2023?
Yeah, the main ones, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. You'll see me out there.
You can find him on any of those. Farmer's Life, Brian Scott, here with Mystik Lubes. You're going to be in that booth today, back and forth?
Yeah, I'm just here with you guys right now and
Running
talk
around?
about it. So, and then I'm just kind of walking around the show.
Just remember, when you see online Brian's equipment operating, it's Mystik Lubricants, made to make it last, as
There
the
we
announcer
go.
says.
You got to get that played in your tractor every time you get in,
Yeah.
just so you got the Max Armstrong sound effects to really get your day going.
Great to see you again, Brian. Really appreciate
You too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brian, for joining us. Always
Yeah.
appreciate the conversation.
Thanks.
Good luck, folks. Let's give him a big round of applause.